Yeah, come back. Come back.
Okay, the same.
Yeah. May I do a crowd already? So he came in twice. I don't know. You're on already.
Okay.
Yeah, people are coming here. That's the reason why it's frozen. So I'm taking all of them out first. Wow. Can't believe this is doing this. Okay, it's live on. So folks, yeah, just get on the YouTube link instead of coming in here. The YouTube link. Colby, Valerie, get on YouTube link.
It's just me and Cyril. That's fine.
All right. So I think we have to start all over again. So folks, yeah, get on the YouTube link. Use the link. Yeah, it was frozen. Welcome everyone. All right, we're starting all over. I guess a lot of people couldn't get what we were saying because when you're on the Restream, you can't get anything. You have to go to the YouTube link to be able to see us. All right. So, like I said, let me be blunt. Africa missed the Industrial Revolution. You know, we were late for the tech revolution, and now artificial intelligence is here. If Africans sit on the sideline again, this time we won't just be behind. We will be irrelevant. Simple. See, AI is not future problem. It is today's opportunity or today's disaster. Welcome to Paradigm Shift. My name is Patrick Barfi and my co-host Valerie Barfi. Here we teach you how to dramatically improve the quality of your life. As Africa has missed too many revolution and the cost has been devastating. You know, we missed the industrial age and we paid for it with poverty and dependency. You know, we arrived very late when it came to tech boom. While others built empires, we became users of their system, and that is exactly what we're trying to avoid. You know, so this show is all about also trying to build the next African generation of African millionaires. You know, this time the door will not open. The door won't stay open for that long. You know, AI is not waiting for government schools or permission from anyone. It's already replacing jobs, you know, reshaping businesses and creating new billionaires everywhere. The question is no longer whether AI will change Africa. It's doing it. Yeah, very simple, it's doing it. You know, the real question is whether Africa will lead this revolution or sit back and watch it happen again like we have been always doing. And that's what we don't want to happen. Today, we are going to show you where, you know, why staying on the sideline this time could be the biggest mistake Africa ever made.
So in this month of January, we are focusing on here on Paradigm Shift on the Patrick Barfi Show. We are focusing on education and career advancement. So today, the goal today is that we will be exploring career opportunities in the field of artificial intelligence for Black folks, especially for Africans in the diaspora and then at home as well. So, thank you for joining. I'd like to start by saying that those who stay curious never run out of doors to walk through, and you joining today demonstrates your willingness to learn, which is the very step to every new opportunity. And we did have some technical setbacks in the beginning. So if you just joined, thanks for your patience.
Yeah, once again, like she said, we know technical issues, forgive us. I think a lot of folks were coming into the Restream. It's supposed to be the YouTube. So if you are here again on the Restream, go back to the YouTube. That will be easier for you. So let's, continue. It is predicted that the next 5 years, there will be 300 to 1 million new AI driven millionaires globally, basically by 2031. So, but those who will not be part of this are late adapters and people who do not have ownership. And that's what exactly we're trying to avoid. And this is also how we can raise, like I was saying, the next generation of Black millionaires through AI, especially African millionaires. See, we've seen this movie before, right? We've seen this movie before, and we want to try to hide that, avoid that. The hard truth Africans do not like to hear is during the Industrial Revolution, Africans supplied raw materials. Yeah, during the tech boom, Africans became consumers, not ownership. While others built Google, Amazon, Facebook, we were busy importing phones instead of building platforms. Africa didn't lose because we are not smart. We all know that. We lost because we came late and played small. Now AI is here, and it's moving faster than internet did, right? Go ahead.
So let's dive in. In terms of AI and the future of work, one myth I would like to debunk here is that AI is here to take our jobs. The goal of this presentation today is to expose you to the various opportunities that is available to us, especially as minorities or people of color. So artificial intelligence is not here to replace humans. Every time you hear the statement artificial intelligence and the future of work, it's always negative. But in reality, AI is here to empower us. Basically, what AI is doing is handling repetitive tasks so that we as human beings can have more time to focus on creativity, problem solving, and human connections. AI has the potential to open doors to new roles, new industries, and skills that did not exist before. At the end of the day, the future belongs to those who are willing to learn, to adapt and grow alongside technology. So as humans, when we work together with AI, we don't or we will not lose our jobs, but rather create more meaningful ones or more meaningful opportunities.
Yeah, again, if you are here, please hit on the YouTube link, go to YouTube for you. All right, so let's look at the way, AI is moving so fast, right? When it comes to, we are not going to go all the way back. We're starting from just the tech boom. When the tech started, it took 16 years for users to be 1 billion. When social media took over, it took 8.5 years for users to be 1 billion. For AI, it took 2 years. 2 years. You see, when is it? I think 2022. That's when ChatGPT, was coming in strong. By November 2025, there were already 1 billion users. So, like I said, the doors are not going to be open so long. It's not going to be open like tech did. So we have to be moving very fast.
So before we move into the career opportunities, I know that's the main reason why we're here, but it's important that we get an understanding or some background information of what artificial intelligence is, right? All we hear is AI, and the average person does not know what AI actually is. So think about it. The moment you wake up, you would ask Siri or Alexa about the weather or what the time is. That's AI. You open Netflix and then somehow it magically knows exactly what you want to watch or will recommend some shows or some movies. That's AI. Even the same with YouTube, right? The recommendations feel like they are reading your mind. They know exactly what your interest is. That's AI. And then in our everyday use, even when you go to your bank and they flag a suspicious transaction before you notice it, that's AI quietly protecting you behind the scenes. So AI isn't futuristic anymore. It's now, it's everywhere, and it's only getting bigger. So I'm going to keep this as a high level, keeping it at a high level in terms of what AI is. I'm not going to go into the technical details, but basically, what you want to know for today's conversation is that AI learns. We'll be having a training class in March. And for those of you who are interested, you can register and then we will work with you on how you can get your AI certifications. But for now, what you need to know is that AI learns through a process called machine learning. And machine learning is basically you collect the data, the system looks for patterns, and then it gets trained on those patterns. So then it uses feedback to get better over time. So it's data and then patterns and then training and then feedback. So basically, a practical example, imagine teaching a child to recognize a cat, right? You will show them pictures, you will correct them when they are wrong, and eventually they get it. They know what a cat is. So machine learning is the same way. It's just the machine learning the same way with more data and it's faster, a faster way of learning.
Yeah, again, there's a class. This class is starting March. You can scan the QR code to register. I'll be going through a lot of things before the class starts. So if you are interested, you can register or ask questions. Call these numbers to do that. Let's go back and talking about jobs, taking our jobs, AI taking our jobs. Um, yes, replacing our jobs, especially in Africa. Let's be honest, AI is already replacing. It's not like it's already replacing. Customer service agents gone, data entry workers gone, content writers gone, graphic designers gone, accountants gone, entry level programmers gone. So if you are, we are, if your job is one of these, um, you are sitting on a time bomb because AI can do those things very efficient and very well. Those are the same jobs that many Africans are rushing into. So if your job can be done from a laptop, AI is already learning how to do it better and faster.
So one important thing when it comes to AI and the way it's trained is data, right? AI learns from data, and that data comes from the world we've built. And unfortunately, is a world where Black people have often been underrepresented, overlooked, or treated unfairly. So when these AI systems are trained on historical, let's say hiring records, policing data, medical data, or even finance data, right? Let's say loan approvals, they don't magically rise above those biases in the data. They absorb it, they repeat it, and sometimes they amplify it. So, for example, one of the clearest examples is facial recognition systems, right? Many facial recognition systems perform slightly worse on darker skin tones, especially for Black women or for Black people. Why? This is because the training data often contains more images of lighter skinned faces, right? So the data, like I mentioned before, that they use to train these systems for facial recognition are based on people with lighter skin tones. So what happens is that the system becomes so good at recognizing what it sees most, right? Which is the lighter skin tones, and then it struggles with what it barely sees at all. So when these tools are used in law enforcement, the consequences aren't theoretical, they are real. So these things have led to false matches, wrongful arrest, and then harmful assumptions about Black communities or in Africa. So let's say crime, right? What happens is that the data, because most crime areas or where police patrol the most are Black communities, the data that is being put in these systems is underrepresented or is biased towards Black communities. So every time you put data that has to do with crime and Black communities in that system, the output that you are going to get is very negative. This isn't because the AI is bad, it's because the AI is reflecting a world that is trained on, including all its inequalities and the fact that the people that are training these AI systems are not racially diverse, right? We don't have a lot of Black people training these systems. And as human beings, we all have our own biases. So if these people are not racially diverse and they are training these systems, their biases directly or indirectly is going to be inputted into these systems. So therefore, representation in AI really matters, and I can't emphasize on it enough. Representation in AI matters. That's a quote from one of my favorite writers, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, that captures this perfectly. It says that if you don't tell your own story, someone else will tell it for you, and they won't tell it right. So AI is telling stories every day, stories about who gets hired, stories about whose loan or whose housing mortgage, a loan for a house gets approved, who gets flagged for either criminal activity, who gets recognized. And if Black professionals or as Africans, we are not part of these they're not part of shaping these stories, the system would continue repeating the same old patterns. So, as Black people or as Africans, we have a strong or a tremendous opportunity and responsibility in the AI space.
So, you see, AI is also the biggest opportunity Africa has ever seen. Why? AI doesn't care about anything. It doesn't care about your accent, your passport, your location, your skin color. It only cares about skill and execution. For the first time in history, where somebody lives in Ghana in Kumasi, or a Nigerian from in where Iba, or a Kenyan from Edorot can compete with someone in Silicon Valley if you move early. Let's be clear, if you move early, we have always been sitting on the sideline. So these are the reason why we have to be getting in quicker. So these are the three lanes Africans must enter now, right? First one is career line. I will let you go.
Okay, so the first one, now that we've laid out why representation in AI matters, we are going to talk about the part that everybody is leaning in for, excited about, is how you can actually position yourself to step into this space. And let me tell you something right now. When it comes to AI, you don't need to be an engineer, a coder, or a math genius to build a career in AI. This is one of the biggest misconceptions out there. Anybody can get into it. We recently got somebody certified through our training classes. This person did not have any AI background, and in less than 2 weeks, the person was able to pass their AIGP certification. So what you do need is the right training, which I already mentioned, the right mindset, the passion, and the willingness to learn. So what are some of the opportunities? If you are somebody who is passionate about shaping the narrative, like I already mentioned, if you want to make sure that AI learns from data that reflects everybody, data that is inclusive, then the data side of AI is a powerful place to start. These roles are not only accessible, but they're well paid and they are in very high demand. So, what are some of the opportunities that are open? The first one is the AI data annotator or labeler. So, what they do is they tag the images, the audio, or text so the AI can learn, right? I might give that example of a cat. something that's a practical example. So this is the foundational work. Without it, without a data annotator, the AI can't function. And the salary range is between like 90 to 130K. If you're still passionate, you don't want to be an annotator, you can be an AI data quality analyst. So with this one, you are the quality control. You make sure that the data is accurate, it's consistent, and it's free from errors. So that's how we prevent buyers from slipping through the cracks. And then I like to mention that most of these, one good thing about AI jobs is that most of them are remote. So you can be in America, you can be in Ghana, you can be in Nigeria. There are so many companies that are hiring remotely all over the world for people that will train the data, for data annotators, for data quality analysts. The other thing that you can be is also, if you're interested in the data side, is a data engineer. So here, don't let the word engineer intimidate you. In this context, it's just about building the pipelines that move the data from point A to point B. So you don't need a scientific background. All you need is training and the curiosity, right? The salary for a data engineer is over $200,000. You can also be an AI data governance lead. That's something I'm also passionate about. This is where leadership meets ethics, right? So with this, you set the rules for how the data is collected, stored, and used responsibly. The salary, this is also very lucrative. Like I'm saying, it doesn't always have to be about the money, but your why, right? Could be making sure that representation, AI is all inclusive. The salary range for that is 132. It starts from 130 to over $300,000. And yet, there are companies that are hiring for these roles right now. You have organizations like Invisible Technologies, XAI, Sama, Cloud Factory, Appen. They are actively looking for people who understand the importance of fair, accurate, and representative data.
Again, 3 lanes Africans must enter now. The first one is a career. If you've been listening to me for a while, I don't usually go by just career. I want ownership. So I'll go through career and I want to also do ownership. You see, don't just use AI work for you. AI, work with AI. High demand rules are, what Valerie just mentioned, but a few of them are, like AI prompt engineering, data analyst, machine learning assistant, AI product manager, automated specialist. You don't need to be genius, right? You need skills and consistency. Now, this is my favorite part: ownership. Stop, being holy users, and that's what we are trying to prevent. We always been on the sidelines. We wait too long when everybody is done creating stuff. We just come in. This is it. This is where wealth is built. Anytime there's a revolution, there's this wealth transfer. So we don't have to sit on the sidelines again. This is where wealth is built. Very soon, or in a process, there's a lot of wealth transfer. It's going on right now because jobs are changing, businesses are changing, the way we do things are changing. And if we sit on the line, no, we are not getting any. So African, we must build AI power startups, create AI tools for African problems, own platforms, not just account. We have TikTok account, we have Google account. That's all we do. Now we can build this. Remember, I said AI is something that is not waiting for government, waiting for anybody. You can just get in and also start building yours, right? So think about it. We can do AI for agri, AI for healthcare, AI for education, AI for local language. This is the only time that we've seen a revolution that looks like we can just get in and do something big because it doesn't care. You can just look, if you are just a tomato seller and you want to use AI, you know nothing about anything. You can just pick whatever it is and start doing your account, right? You can do your account. Hey, today, this woman bought this bought this in your own language, Ewe, Yoruba, whatever it is. And at the end, you can say, hey, calculate it for me, and it will calculate it for you. So ownership, this is where we have to start doing that. Another part is investment, right? On the ownership side, if you don't build a system, you always serving it. On the investment side, you don't have to have money, just small money. Recently, those in America and stuff, you saw how Nvidia started. People were just, oh, Nvidia is not going anywhere. Now we see where Nvidia is. If you have bought Nvidia when it was $10, now even if you use $2, it's like you have about almost like 2 million. So you can invest something or small startup companies, stocks. Also, these tools, people are creating tools. You can invest in those things and also invest in education. The same people that sit on the sideline when it comes to this world transfer are also sitting for these things to happen without them. So many are ignoring it right now, but we don't have to. We have to step in.
Okay, so in terms of the stocks, I've had some questions. What are some of the AI stocks that you can invest in? Even when you get a job and your job, you're out of your paycheck, you can use some to invest in stocks, right? It's not always spending. If you've been listening to the Patrick Bay Barfi show, you spend, you save, and then you invest. So if you get the opportunity to get into the AI field, you get a good job, you can also invest in some stocks. Nvidia, Microsoft, Alphabet, that's Google, Amazon stocks, Apple stocks, TSMC, that's the Taiwan Semiconductor, that's Broadcom, that's Micro Technology, MU, there's Cisco Systems, Equinox is EQIX. There's also some software platforms and application stocks that you can invest in. There's Palantir, PALANTIR, there's CrowdStrike, there's UiPath, and then Tesla, depending on if you're interested in that as well.
Let me come in here. When you mentioned Tesla, yeah, that's fine. But when it comes to investing, right, you don't have to do emotions, no, because
that's true.
You have to invest to make more money. So we don't do emotions, right? When Opana started all these things, people started investing in these prisons and all that. They don't do emotion, even though they might not support it. But so yes, Tesla, people might be like, oh no, but if that is what is going to make you more money, I'm not saying you have to, but sometimes you have to go with your values though. But we don't do emotions when it comes to investing, no. So all these companies that you mentioned are companies that are good, they are going on, but some of them are already gone. You can look for these small ones that are coming in that have like 10 stocks like $10 now, or maybe 20 or 50, the same way that Nvidia started, that people were just writing them off. So we have so many things that you can invest in. Me, for instance, I don't like just single stocks. There's index funds that are also good. You mentioned some of them that are also good that you can invest in those things. So just don't go just for stocks. You can also do these. When I say like a mutual, group of companies coming together in that situation, one is going down, you still have the other ones over there. I'll make S&P 500, for example, is the largest and the richest 500 companies in the country, and they have a set rules. If you don't fit in that rules, you are kicked out. So the only time when you're invested in that you're going to lose money is when all the 500 goes down, and you all know barely all the 500 is going to be going bad at the same time. No, that won't happen. So you can invest in those too if you want to. But
okay, so we've done people entry level, if you're in the finance AI jobs. Now I want to talk about the medical professionals, right? So for medical professionals, your expertise is gold. If you're in the medical field, especially nurses, listen closely. AI in healthcare is exploding, and your clinical experience is exactly what these systems need. So, for example, you can be a nurse informatics AI specialist. So, what they do is they help integrate the AI tools to make predictive monitors, right? So let's say like predictive sepsis monitors into real nursing workflows. So basically, you are the bridge between technology and then patient care. You can also be a clinical AI trainer. What you would do is that you teach AI models how to think clinically. So basically, you would label the medical data, review AI generated notes, and then make sure that the system understands real world medical nuances. You can also be an AI compliance safety nurse. What you do is you audit systems to ensure they are safe, unbiased, and aligned with patient care standards. One thing I want to add is that because AI is very new, careers in AI are very new, the entry level in AI jobs is very low. Sometimes you go for an interview and the person even interviewing you does not know anything about AI. So this is your chance to be an expert or a subject matter expert in the field. If you're just a nurse, everybody is a nurse, right? But if somebody picks up your resume and then sees that you have this AI background or AI skills or AI training, it sets you apart from the rest. If you're also in nursing, you can be an AI compliance and safety nurse. Basically, what you do is that you audit AI systems to ensure they are safe, unbiased, and aligned with patient care standards. You can also be a virtual AI coordinator. That's also an easy one. What you basically do is oversee AI-driven remote patient monitoring systems. So this is more of telehealth. And then, so I'll leave. Patrick, you can take over from here, and then
Yeah.
I'll final.
So you see, my friends, these are and these all these jobs that she's talking about are jobs that pay very well. They pay very well. Let's be honest. Let's be very honest. You know, nursing job is not easy. You still, you stand on your feet for long, and you don't really make much. This can easily be a breakthrough for you. So these are the dangerous. The thing is, the dangerous mindset holding Africans back is, I will start next year. AI is for, white people. Technology is not my thing. Let me first travel abroad first. Those back home, they want to come abroad first before they do that. You see, the world is not waiting for Africa anymore. We have to catch up, and start doing the right thing. AI is moving like a light speed. We cannot cut those things, right? So on the finance side, there are few jobs that are also paying very good. Machine learning in fintech or finance. What you do is they build models for credit scoring, fraud detection, trading signals, customer analysis, analytic, and risk modeling. That job can easily pay you between 100 and 130. Data scientists, on a fintech side or financial institution side, use big data plus AI tools to support financial forecasting, risk modeling. This job can also give you easily for 140K. AI product manager is also on the finance side or the fintech. Those are oversee development of AI power financial products, and that is between 130, 160. You can easily get those jobs. So all we're trying to say is, when you look at what we've said and everything at this point, AI is something that is coming from the sky, or it's not. Don't let it intimidate you. It's we humans feeding everything in it. I know when we once we hear, especially Africans, when we hear something like this, we just brush it aside. This is not us. This is not part of us. We are not going that way this time, because we want to raise generation of millionaires and billionaires. And anytime, I will say this again, anytime you see there's a revolution, or the so-called industrial revolution, there's a wealth transfer, and this has already happening. Look, let's go all the way back and start going through these big tech companies. Look at the names of the CEOs. You'll be surprised. They're all coming from the India, where China. Let me let you talk more about that.
Yes. So, so just to piggyback off what you're saying is that when you look at the big tech companies, most of the people in the VP roles, in the executive roles, you hardly find Black representation. They are all from Southeastern descent, mostly India, from Bangladesh, from it's mostly India and Bangladesh, and then China. These are all. But you hardly Black people. By the time Black people or Africans we got there, we just recently got into the tech world, where for the past 10 years most Black people started getting into that field. but other races were way ahead of us. So artificial intelligence, and this happened because we sat behind the scenes, right? When this was going on, we sat behind the scenes and for some reason did not include ourselves. So artificial intelligence is an opportunity for us to get in. That's why we are having this talk today, to get in the beginning before it's too late. Like he said, we are trying to raise a new generation of millionaires. We want to walk into all these big tech companies and then see people of our skin color, right? We want to walk into these tech companies where we also have a voice at the decision table. I don't want to focus on just the people in the diaspora, but in Africa itself, you have companies like there are companies on the continent that are building AI products and research. So you have a company, InstaDeep, and these companies are also actively hiring and then publishing roles. So if you're on the continent, if you're in Africa, you can look into these companies. InstaDeep is it's an AI company startup in Tunisia. They are focused on decision-making systems, optimization, and AI research. So just like I said, the decisions, the data that is put into the AI systems. There's also, I hope I get the pronunciation right, Lepala AI, that's in South Africa. They research and produce lab building local language models. It's called LLM and solutions for African needs. I'm just going to mention a few. There's Signverse Kenya. You can look into it as well. And then there's also companies hiring and listing AI jobs that are open to Africans, right? There's data annotation.tech, there's RWS Train AI Community, there's the Flex, there's Black Pen Recruitment, that's South African based. These are all companies that are hiring for labor when it comes to AI on the continent itself. Nana, do you have anything to add, or if not, I can go and talk about
Yeah,
the government?
so let me say this. I think there's a sister in there trying to so first of all, the link, you can scan the QR code. The people saying they can't, the link is not working for them. Scan the QR code. When you scan it right now, it's going to work to register if you want. Someone says, what are the practical steps can an Africans take to enter AI careers and become career creators, not just consumers? That's for me. That's what I'm looking for. I want people to be honest of this. You can also register for it, and that's where we'll go through all these process. We'll go further than that. Hi, would cybersecurity play a role in AI? Yes, it's gonna, but you won't just sit there for it to come. If you're cybersecurity, you have to do, AI, add that to it, and yeah. But gradually, all those things are fading out. So you have to make sure you are equipping yourself well to be able to do that. So what I'll say is, you see, Africa has talent. Africa has brains. We have youth. What we lack is agency. AI is the new oil, but this time we don't need land. You don't need land. You don't need connections. You don't need permissions. You only need knowledge and action. Yes. Yeah. So this time, Africa must not watch history happen again. We must build it, and that's something we can. We must build it.
Okay.
So again, folks, scan the QR code if the link is not working for you, and you're able to slide in and register for it. Go on.
Yeah. So I want to mention about the cybersecurity. So what I want to say is that with AI, you can still keep your jobs and then add AI. I have a legal and contracts management background, and I added AI, right? So that made me more marketable, and that was an additional skill. So no matter what you have, because right now every company is transferring to AI. So if you're already in the cyber field, what you want, that's how I want us to think, right? How combining AI with whatever field that you're in. So if you're in the cyber, what you can do is that there's a very high demand for roles that combine AI and cybersecurity. So there's an AI security. I know you already have a security specialist, but you can become an AI cybersecurity specialist, right? So basically, what they do is they secure AI systems, they defend the models, just like cybersecurity, but with an think of it with an AI hat, right? They defend models, guard against data poisoning, and then mitigate adversarial attacks. Companies, most tech companies, defense contractors, cloud firms are hiring for that. We can also look into becoming a cyber threat intelligence analyst. We're going to have a training class. I will go into all that. So I'm just giving you a high level overview. What the cyber security threat AI analyst does is that they use AI tools and data analytics to detect patterns and predict attacks. You can become a machine learning engineer, security applications. You can become an AI security architect, an ethical AI auditor. These are all under cybersecurity. We'll have a training class where we'll actually have a Q&A and then one-on-one, and then we can delve further. So this was just to give you a high level overview and then basically get you thinking, right? Like a paradigm shift. After this presentation, my goal is that you would think of AI differently, not just as a spectator or not just as an observer, but somebody who is actively involved as well. So the final one job that I would want to talk about before we close today is AI governance. And it's something that I'm very passionate about as well. And I'm going to spend the last few minutes explaining it. So before I talk about AI governance, I would just give a high level overview on something called automation bias, right? And why it matters. So there's a term in AI called automation bias, and it's basically describing something that as human beings, we have the tendency to believe that if a computer said it's true, it might be right. So even if it contradicts our own senses, our own common sense, once a computer said it's right. And you see that a lot with the internet, right? People see something, they see something on Facebook or they see something on TikTok or some random fact, and just because it's on Facebook or just because it's on the internet, you assume it's right without doing any fact checking. So this, because we assume that because it came from AI, it's right, it's very dangerous because AI systems learn from historical data. And if that data, I think I already mentioned it, I did mention it in the beginning, if that data results in past racism, discrimination, or inequality, the AI will learn those patterns if they are correct. So it gives a problem which we call the black box problem and a real world harm. So AI is often called a black box, right? It's called black box because what happens is you put in inputs, right? So just think of it, you put in input, it goes into the system, and then you have an output. But what really happens, we can't see AI, we can't see the connections that it's making, we can't see the assumptions it's learning, we can't see the biases that it's from. So it's inputs, there's the black box, and then there's output. Up till now, scientists have not been able to determine what goes on in the black box, how these decisions are made. And for example, there's a hospital algorithm that was giving lower risk scores to Black patients than white patients with the same conditions, right? There have been criminal justice tools that are flagging Black defendants at high risk at a higher rate. I already talked about the facial recognitions. So these are not glitches, but they are biases in the data that are being caused as a result of the black box problem, right? We don't know how the AI is making these determinations. So this is why AI governance exists. It's one of the fastest growing career fields. It's AI governance experts are the people who step in and say, hold on, we are not just going to trust the machine, we're going to verify it. I recently got a situation, a typical a situation 2 weeks ago with my kids' school. I get an email from the teacher telling me that they used AI to check the students' work and that this kid had plagiarized on their work. But because I have that AI background, so they're going to give them a 0 on the grade. And I told them no. You are using AI to check a student's original work, and just because this machine is telling you that the work is plagiarized, you're going to believe it? No. So they were able to investigate. This was the student's original work, but like I said, the teacher is thinking just because the AI said it, they are assuming it's true, but it was false. So in the end, we were able to. I was able to educate them, and they ended up giving them the full grade. So this got me thinking, right? It's because I have that AI knowledge as a parent, I was able to defend my child. But what about another parent that has got nothing, or a student that doesn't know anything about AI? You receive an email from your a teacher saying that your student has plagiarized because AI is saying this, and they are going to give him or her zero, or they are going to academic integrity, right? Plagiarism is a big thing in universities, or as a result of this, the child, is sacked or suspended from the school just based on something that AI said. So that's why I'm so passionate about it, that, as minorities, we need to get into careers that will give us a voice, right? So basically, what AI governance is that it's a system that fights automation bias. It forces humans to stay alert and ensure that, so that way we are over. It's called the over. So we are not. You have a question, or is there a question? It forces humans to stay alert so
No, no,
that
you
the
were,
AI is safe.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was frozen. Am I okay now? It forces AI to stay
You're okay.
alert
Yeah,
to
go ahead.
ensure that AI is safe, legal, ethical, and fair. So what an AI governance professional does is that we ask the hard questions, right? Where did this data come from? Who does this model harm? Who does it help? How do we prevent discrimination? And because the risks are so high, the stakes are so real, organizations in every industry are hiring for AI governance professionals at a rapid pace. So this is a field that is growing faster than any or almost other area in AI. If this is an area that speaks to you, if you care about fairness, ethics, and justice, accountability, then these are some of the powerful career paths that is waiting for you. You can be an AI governance specialist. They focus on ensuring that the AI systems are ethical and legal. The salary ranges from 120 to over 200K. There's also an AI ethics responsible AI lead. They make sure that they develop frameworks to prevent bias, discrimination, and harmful outcomes. The salary for that too starts from 150 to 250K. You can be an AI risk compliance manager. The salary for that from 140 to 220K. AI audit transparency officer, AI program manager. That's also very well paying. That salary starts from 160 to over 280K. So these roles are not just jobs, they are positions of influence. They shape how AI is interacting with society, and they protect communities from harm. They also ensure that technology serves everyone and not just a few. So if you've been listening today and thinking, I want to be part of the solution, if anything that we have said has triggered something, lack of a better word, something in your spirit, I want to, for example, I want to make sure that AI is fair. I want to make sure that there's a lot of minority representation on how data is represented when it comes to Black people. I want to help rewrite the narrative. Then AI governance might be something where you belong. It's also very high paying. This is a field that needs your job, your voice, it needs your perspective, it needs your leadership. At the end of the day, the future of AI isn't just about building powerful systems, it's about building responsible ones. So we've already put in the link there for our next AI governance training course, which is in May. It's about 6 to 8 weeks. So if you're interested, I would encourage all of you to register for the upcoming class. So hand over to Patrick for his final words.
Sure. This is the link. I put it in the chat. Also, the QR code, you can scan it. If you have, you want to talk more, there's email and a phone number that you can get in touch with us. Again, I focus more on these. I think artificial intelligence is not future conversation. I believe it is present day battle. We are battling. It's a battlefield right now, and we shouldn't be sitting on the sidelines. The countries that act now will dominate the next 50 years of world creation because the transfer of money is happening right now. See, those who hesitate will become digital laborers. And we've been seeing this on the tech side. We were so much on the sideline, and now we are just making money for people. African has the youth, we have the talent, we have the young. We are very hungry to win this race. But like I said, the urgency, that's what we need. You see, what we lack is urgency, direction, and bold action. Sometimes we just let things slide. We'll do it tomorrow, we'll do it today. This time we are not going to do that. And that's what we're trying to make sure the next generation is coming from us, coming from Africa, coming from us, Black people. See, African offers, like I said, we said 3 things that you can be in a clear path: career, ownership, investment. Usually I focus more on the ownership and investment part. Let's create something. It's not waiting for anyone. No government, no schools, nobody. You can just get in and start doing it. If you know nothing, you can't do anything about it. So start doing it. Don't ignore any of these paths. Choose, because when you're doing that, you're choosing poverty by default. We paid so much huge price when we were sitting on the sidelines for all these industrial revolutions. So this is the time, this is the moment to learn, build, and position yourself early. History will remember who stood up and who stayed silent. We are not doing that anymore. I want to empower us that this time, like I said, this is the only time that we feel that we are part of it, even though they might not. When it was started, they weren't even counting us. When you look at all these industrial revolutions, we see people that have really been doing well. It's the people that they didn't build that system, or that system wasn't for them. You can see where the tech was starting. You see all these school dropouts, Bill Gates, Zuckerberg, they were doing very good. The system wasn't built for them, So this is the time that it looks like it wasn't built for us, but we have a chance. We have a chance because we have the talent. See, don't let AI become another revolution. Africa, watch from the sideline. Be part of the generation that took control. So on that note, I would say make sure you spend wisely, save intentionally, and be generous. Scan the QR code, or use the link. You can call, send email, and we can go from there.
Thank you.